The CNS Shadowfall floated quietly in space. No alien ships could see it. The ship had the best cloaking technology humans had ever made. For 3 years, this ship had been watching different alien groups without them knowing. Captain Juwu Park stood on the bridge looking at screens showing space around them. Her dark uniform fit perfectly, showing her rank with small silver pins. The ship was running with only 150 crew members, much less than its full capacity of 800. Everyone worked silently at their stations, knowing their mission was top secret. "Status report," Juwu said, her voice calm but carrying authority throughout the bridge. "All systems normal, Captain." "Cloak functioning at 100%, replied the operations officer. Juwu nodded, satisfied. The Shadowfall represented humanity's greatest achievement, a vessel that could move undetected through any part of space. While the aliens of the Galactic Conclave thought humans were just beginning space travel with simple ships, the truth was very different. First Officer Do-Yeon Kim walked quickly across the bridge. His face looked worried as he handed Juwu a datapad. "Captain, we've detected movement in the Siraxian fleet," he said. "They've changed course." Juwu took the pad, her eyes narrowing as she studied the information. "Where are they heading?" "New Horizon Colony, Captain. They've left their previous patrol route." The bridge fell silent. New Horizon was one of humanity's outer colonies, home to over 3 million people. "How many ships?" Juwu asked, her voice steady despite the news. 87 warships confirmed. Long-range scans show it's the 3rd battle group. Do-Yeon pointed to the largest signal on the screen. "That's the flagship. Admiral Taruk appears to be leading personally." Juwu walked to the main display, zooming in on that Siraxian fleet. The alien ships moved in perfect formation, their red and black hulls bristling with weapons. The Siraxians were known throughout the galaxy as expert warriors, reptilian beings with scales that could withstand vacuum for short periods. Their ships matched their nature, angular, aggressive, and built for battle. Intelligence Officer Suman Lee approached, her tablet showing diplomatic channels. "Captain, I've been monitoring Conclave communications," Suman reported. "The diplomatic channels have gone completely silent regarding the Siraxian movement." "What about emergency broadcasts from New Horizon?" Juwu asked. "Nothing yet. They don't know what's coming." Suman's voice was grim. "The Conclave representatives aren't warning them either. From what I can tell, they're assuming humans will surrender rather than fight against such overwhelming odds." Juwu's lips curled into a slight smile that didn't reach her eyes. "They still think we're centuries behind their technology. That assumption is about to cost them dearly." She walked to her command chair and sat down, pressing a button on the armrest. "All senior officers to the briefing room immediately." 5 minutes later, the Shadowfall's command team gathered around the table. The holographic display showed the Siraxian fleet's current position and projected course. "At their current speed, they'll reach New Horizon in 14 hours, said Navigation Officer Min-Soo Kang. "Their weapons?" Juwu asked. Weapons Officer Haijin Ba brought up detailed scans of the Siraxian ships. Standard plasma cannons, gravity torpedoes, and shield technology. Nothing we haven't seen before, but in these numbers, they could overwhelm New Horizon's defenses in minutes. Juwu stood up and walked around the table slowly. "For 3 years, we've watched. We've gathered intelligence. We've learned their strengths and weaknesses while they remained ignorant of our true capabilities." The officers nodded. The mission had been long and often boring, but always important. "I believe the time for watching is over," Juwu continued. "We cannot allow an attack on New Horizon." Engineering Chief Junho Yoon spoke up. "Captain, if we decloak to defend the colony, we reveal everything. The Shadowfall's technology, our capabilities, everything we've kept hidden." "I'm aware of the stakes," Juwu replied, "but I will not sacrifice a colony of 3 million people." The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. For years, Earth had maintained the facade of being a minor power, while secretly developing technologies far beyond what the Conclave races possessed. "What are your orders, Captain?" Do-hyun finally asked. Juwoo's face was resolved. "Set course to intercept the Xeraxian fleet. We'll position ourselves in the middle of their formation before they reach New Horizon. When the moment is right, we'll decloak and show them exactly what humanity is capable of." As the meeting ended, the Shadowfall's engines powered up, still completely hidden from detection. The massive ship accelerated, beginning the pursuit of a fleet that had no idea they were being hunted. The Xeraxians thought they were the predators. Soon they would learn they were prey. Admiral Tarek's scaled skin glistened under the lights of his command deck. He stood tall, his 4 arms crossed behind his back, as he looked at the view screen. His fleet of 87 warships now surrounded the human colony of New Horizon. "Show me the human defenses," Tarak ordered. Tactical Officer Gilnar's claws tapped quickly over the control panel. The display changed to show 6 small ships orbiting the human colony. "The humans have only 6 defensive vessels," Gilnar reported. His voice held a tone of amusement. "Their shields are weak. Their weapons are basic. These ships are primitive compared to our technology." Tarak's mouth opened in what passed for its Xeraxian smile, revealing rows of sharp teeth. As expected, the reports from the Conclave were correct. Humans are barely space-capable. The bridge crew worked at their stations, preparing for battle. Tarak walked to the main tactical display, watching the human ships move into a simple defensive formation. "Too easy," he muttered. "I had hoped for a worthy challenge today." "All ships report ready for attack," Admiral, his second-in-command, announced. Tarak nodded with satisfaction. "Begin the attack sequence. I want their colony secured by." A piercing alarm suddenly blared across the bridge. Red warning lights flashed from every console. The tactical display flickered and distorted. "What is happening?" Tarak demanded. Gilnar frantically worked at his station. "Something is wrong with our sensors. They're detecting a massive object that wasn't there before." "Impossible." Tarak slammed his first set of hands onto the console. "Where?" The main screen changed to show something that should not exist. An enormous ship had appeared directly in the center of the Xeraxian formation. It had seemingly materialized from nothing. "Impossible," Gilnar shouted, his professional demeanor cracking. "A ship has materialized within our fleet." The mysterious vessel was unlike any human ship on record. Its smooth, dark hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The vessel was massive, at least twice the size of Tarak's flagship, and shaped like a predatory sea creature from ancient Xeraxian legends. "How did they penetrate our formation?" Tarak demanded, his voice rising. "Where did they come from? Why didn't we detect them approaching?" His sensor officer's hands trembled as they moved across the controls. "Admiral, I'm getting readings now. This ship, its technology, it's nothing like what we believed humans possessed." "Explain," Tarak ordered. "The power readings are off our measurement scales. They have energy shielding we can't even classify. And there are weapons systems I don't recognize." The sensor officer looked up, his reptilian eyes wide. "This isn't possible. The Conclave assured us humans were centuries behind us technologically." Tarak stared at the screen, his battle plans evaporating. "Are they preparing to fire weapons?" "No, Admiral. They're just sitting there." "Hail them," Tarak ordered. "Now." Before his communications officer could comply, a message came through on all frequencies simultaneously. "This is the CNS Shadowfall," a calm human voice stated. "You have entered restricted space with hostile intent." Tarak hissed. "Put them on screen." The display changed to show a human female sitting in a command chair. Her uniform was black with silver trim, unlike the gray uniforms the Conclave had on record for human military. "I am Captain Juwoo Park of the Earth Defense Force," she said. "Your fleet will stand down immediately." Inside the Shadowfall, Captain Juwoo sat calmly in her command chair. Around her, the bridge crew maintained perfect discipline despite the tension of the moment. Tactical status, she asked quietly. Siraxian fleet is in disarray, replied Weapons Officer Hyjin. Several ships have powered weapons, but they haven't locked on yet. They appear confused. Juwu nodded. As expected. Communications. Channel open to the Siraxian flagship, replied Communications Officer Yuna. Admiral Tarak is responding. The main screen showed the Siraxian admiral. His scaled face was flushed dark green with anger or surprise. It was hard to tell with Taraxians. Human vessel, Tarak said. Your appearance is unexpected. But one ship, no matter how large, cannot stand against my fleet. Leave now, and we may spare your colony. Juwu allowed herself a small smile. Admiral, look around you. Your ships are surrounded. Ridiculous, Tarak hissed. We have you outnumbered. Activate external viewports, Juwu ordered. All around the Taraxian ships, space itself seemed to ripple. Then, like ghosts taking form, 20 more massive human ships appeared, their weapons pointed at the Taraxian fleet. You see, Admiral, Juwu continued, the Shadowfall isn't alone. Humanity has been watching from the shadows for years. Today, we've decided to introduce ourselves properly. Tarak's face showed the first signs of fear. On his tactical display, the odds had suddenly and dramatically shifted. Open communications with the Siraxian flagship, Juwu ordered, her voice steady and confident. Let's introduce ourselves properly. This is Captain Juwu Park of the Earth vessel CNS Shadowfall. Her voice echoed across every Siraxian ship. Your fleet has entered restricted space with hostile intent. You will stand down immediately. On his flagship, Admiral Tarak's scales darkened with rage. His bridge crew watched nervously as he gripped the arms of his command chair. The sudden appearance of the human ship had thrown their careful plans into chaos. Open a channel, Tarak ordered. When his communications officer nodded, he spoke with as much authority as he could muster. Human captain, your bravery is noted but misplaced. A single vessel cannot challenge my fleet, regardless of how you managed your entrance. He expected fear or perhaps desperate negotiation. Instead, Captain Juwu's face appeared on his view screen with a look of complete confidence. We've been monitoring your species for decades, Admiral, she said calmly. We know about the civilians you massacred on Proxima Station. We have recorded your violations of 17 conclave treaties. Tarak's inner eyelids flickered in surprise. The Proxima operation had been completely classified. No one outside the Siraxian High Command should know about it. You claim much, human, he replied, trying to hide his unease. But claims need proof. Of course, Captain Juwu agreed. She nodded to someone off-screen. To demonstrate our sincerity. Suddenly, alarms blared across Tarak's bridge. Red warning lights flashed from every console. Admiral, his weapons officer called out. Our targeting systems are offline. Main weapons powering down. Another officer reported. Communications with escort vessels are breaking up. Tarak rose from his chair, spinning to face his chief engineer. What is happening? He demanded. The engineer's hands moved frantically across his control panel. His scales had paled to a sickly yellow color. They've somehow accessed our systems remotely. This shouldn't be possible. Our cybersecurity is the best in the Conclave. Fix it, Tarak hissed. I'm trying, but something is blocking every attempt. It's like the systems are responding to another authority. On the view screen, Captain Juwu continued speaking as if nothing unusual was happening. This is not our only ship, Admiral. Humanity has maintained a hidden fleet throughout Conclave space. Your technological advantage is an illusion we've allowed you to believe. Aboard the Shadowfall, Captain Juwu sat calmly in her command chair. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, monitoring the Siraxian fleet's desperate attempts to regain control of their systems. Communications officer Minji Kang turned from her station. She whispered to Captain Juwu, "They're attempting to restart their weapons by physically disconnecting their control systems." Clever, Juwu acknowledged with a small nod, but expected. Time for Phase 2. She turned to her tactical officer. Begin targeted system isolation. Across the bridge, the crew moved with practiced precision. They had drilled for this moment for years. Inside the Xeraxian flagship, confusion turned to panic. Not only were their weapons and communications disabled, but life support systems began showing failures. "Admiral," the environmental officer called out, "oxygen recyclers are shutting down in sections 3 through 7. Gravity is fluctuating on the lower decks. Engine control is not responding." Tarek stared at the human captain on his screen. Her small, soft features betrayed no hint of strain or worry. For the first time in his military career, he felt a cold sensation of fear. "What do you want?" he finally asked. Captain Juwu leaned forward slightly. "First, acknowledge that you understand your position. Your fleet is defenseless. Your ships can neither fight nor flee." Tarek's pride fought against reality for a moment before he slowly nodded. "I acknowledge this current situation." "Good," Juwu replied. "Now understand this. We could have destroyed your entire fleet the moment you entered this system. We chose not to." On his tactical display, Tarek watched as small objects began to appear around each of his ships. The objects were too small to be vessels, perhaps probes or drones, but they moved with impossible precision. "What are those?" he demanded. "Insurance," Captain Juwu explained. "Each drone carries enough explosive power to disable a ship of your flagship's class. They've attached to critical points on your vessel's hulls." Tarek slumped slightly. The human ship had appeared from nowhere, disabled his fleet, and now surrounded each vessel with weapons. And still, his sensors showed more human ships decloaking at the edges of the system. "Why reveal yourselves now?" he asked. "If you've been watching for so long." Captain Juwu's expression softened slightly. "Because we believe in giving chances. Admiral, your people have been missiled about humanity's capabilities, just as the Conclave has been missiled about your activities." She tapped something on her chair's arm. Suddenly, images appeared on Tarek's screen, recordings of secret Xeraxian military operations, confidential meetings with his superiors, plans for expansion that violated Conclave agreements. "We have shared this evidence with the Conclave Council," Juwu continued, "but we wanted to speak with you directly first." Tarek's secondary heart began beating faster. "What are your terms?" "Immediate withdrawal from human space, recognition of our territorial boundaries, and your personal testimony to the Conclave about your government's actual intentions." "That would be treason," Tarek whispered. Captain Juwu's face remained impassive. "It would be truth. Choose carefully, Admiral." On the Shadowfalls Bridge, Minji leaned close to Juwu again. "Captain, they're attempting to activate a hidden communications array to call for reinforcements." Juwu nodded. "Disable it, and prepare the demonstration fleet for visibility." Outside in space, more human ships began to decloak, their massive forms appearing like ghosts becoming solid. The Xeraxian fleet was now completely surrounded. The bridge of the Shadowfall fell silent as Captain Juwu nodded to her weapons officer. The moment they had prepared for had arrived. It was time to show the Xeraxians exactly what humanity was capable of. "Launch drone fighters," Juwu ordered calmly. Without warning, hundreds of small craft emerged from the Shadowfall's launch bays. These autonomous drone fighters shot out in perfect formation. They were small, barely the size of shuttles, but moved with incredible speed. The sleek black drones zipped between the Xeraxian vessels with impossible precision, weaving through the enemy fleet like water flowing around rocks. Most remarkably, each drone would appear for just a moment before vanishing again behind its own cloaking field. To the Xeraxian crews, it looked like hundreds of small ships were blinking in and out of existence all around them. On his flagship, Admiral Tarek watched in horror as the drones swarmed through his fleet. His once mighty armada now sat helpless as the tiny human craft moved freely between them. "Target those fighters," Admiral Teruk ordered, pounding his fist on his command chair. His weapons officer frantically worked at his console, his scales paling to a sickly yellow. "We can't lock on, sir. They appear and disappear too quickly, and our targeting systems are still compromised. Use manual targeting. Fire where they will be," Teruk shouted. "Sir, the targeting systems are completely offline, and the drones move too erratically to predict." The weapons officer's voice cracked with panic. Captain Juwu's calm voice came through the communication system again. "Admiral, observe your flagship's primary reactor." A display appeared on Teruk's command console without anyone activating it. It showed a detailed schematic of his own ship, information that no outsider should possess. The layout revealed every deck, every system, every weakness of the Siraxian flagship. A blinking indicator showed a drone fighter had positioned itself directly beside the reactor housing, the most vulnerable point of the entire ship. Teruk stared in disbelief. "How do you have these schematics?" "These are classified by the highest security protocols." "As I said, Admiral, we've been watching for a very long time," Juwu replied. "That drone carries an explosive device powerful enough to breach your reactor containment. Similar drones are positioned near critical systems on every ship in your fleet." Teruk's second heart began racing. The humans could destroy his entire fleet with the press of a button. "We could have destroyed your entire fleet already," Juwu continued, her voice level. "Instead, we offer terms." On the Shadowfalls Bridge, Tactical Officer Hyun Woo-choi approached Captain Juwu with a datapad. She took it and quickly reviewed the information. Status reports from the hidden human ships throughout the system, and updates on the Siraxian fleet's attempts to regain control. Juwu nodded her thanks to Hyunwoo before addressing Teruk again. "Our terms are simple: immediate withdrawal from human space, formal recognition of our territorial boundaries, and cessation of all hostile activities against human colonies." Admiral Teruk's jaw tightened. His long military career had never prepared him for such a complete reversal of power. He had entered this system expecting an easy victory against a primitive species. Now his entire fleet sat helpless, surrounded by technology he didn't understand. "And if I refuse?" he asked, trying to maintain some dignity. In response, the Shadowfall's main weapon system hummed to life. A bright blue beam shot out with surgical precision, striking Teruk's flagship on its port side. The beam lasted only 2 seconds, but when it ended, the flagship's propulsion systems were completely offline. Warning alarms blared across Teruk's bridge. His engineering chief frantically worked at his station. "Propulsion systems are completely disabled," the engineer reported in shock. "But there's no hull breach, no casualties. The beam somehow bypassed our shields and precisely targeted only the engine systems." Captain Juwu's face appeared on screen again. Her expression remained professional but firm. "That was a demonstration of our precision weapons technology. We can disable your ships without killing your crews. But make no mistake, Admiral, we can just as easily target life support, shield generators, or your reactor cores." Teruk stared at the human captain. In her eyes, he saw not bloodlust or hatred, but calm determination. This was not a species fighting for survival. This was a power that had chosen when and how to reveal itself. "You have 1 hour to decide," Captain Juwu concluded. "I suggest you use that time wisely." As the communication ended, Teruk looked around at his bridge crew. Fear was evident in their postures and expressions. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Siraxian Empire, hung powerless in space, surrounded by human vessels that had appeared from nowhere. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Teruk realized he had only one option: surrender. The grand chamber of the Galactic Conclave buzzed with nervous energy. Alien representatives from over 200 worlds filled the circular room. Many stood rather than sat, too anxious to remain still. The great doors at the far end opened, and the room fell silent. Captain Juwu Park walked into the chamber wearing a formal blue uniform with silver trim. Her steps were steady and confident. Behind her came 5 other humans in similar uniforms. The aliens watched with a mixture of fear, respect, and curiosity. 3 weeks had passed since the Shadowfall had revealed itself to the Xeraxian fleet. News had spread quickly through the galaxy. Humanity, a species most had dismissed as primitive newcomers, had suddenly proven to be a hidden power. The conclave leader, a tall being with pale skin and 4 arms, raised a hand for silence. We welcome Captain Juwu Park of Earth, who addresses this full assembly by special invitation. Juwu stepped onto the speaking platform. Her image appeared on large screens around the chamber so everyone could see her. She looked small compared to many of the alien representatives, but her presence commanded attention. Humanity has observed from the shadows long enough. She began, her voice clear and strong. We chose patience over confrontation, understanding over aggression. But make no mistake, we will defend our people. The chamber remained silent. No one dared interrupt. For decades, Earth has sent ships throughout conclave space. We watched, we learned. We studied your cultures, your technologies, your conflicts. Juwu paused, looking around the room. Some of you planned to conquer us, believing we were weak. Others wished to help us grow, thinking we needed guidance. We thank those who showed kindness, and we forgive those who showed aggression. Ambassador Jun Soo-yoon, a tall man with a calm face, stepped forward to stand beside Juwu. As Earth's newly appointed diplomatic liaison, he would remain at the conclave after Juwu returned to her ship. Today marks a new beginning, Jumsu said. Earth wishes to join the conclave as an equal member. We bring technologies we are willing to share and knowledge that may benefit all. Murmurs spread through the chamber. On the screens above, images appeared showing human ships revealing themselves in various parts of conclave space. Each looked as advanced as the Shadowfall. Some had been hiding near important trade routes. Others had been stationed near powerful homeworlds. All had remained undetected until now. The Zrel representative, an insect-like being, rose to speak. 3 of your ships revealed themselves in our home system yesterday. They have been there for years without our knowledge. How can we trust a species that has hidden among us? Juwu nodded. A fair question. Ask yourself, what did we do with our hidden advantage? Did we attack? Did we steal? Did we interfere? No, we only watched and learned. When the Xeraxian fleet threatened our colony, we acted only to defend, not to destroy. The mention of the Xeraxians caused more murmurs. Everyone knew what had happened. The Xeraxian Empire had withdrawn all its forces from border regions and sued for peace with Earth. Admiral Terok had been removed from command after his failure. A Xeraxian representative stood. Unlike Terok, this one was smaller and wore civilian clothes. My government wishes to formally apologize for our military's actions. We seek peaceful relations with humanity. Juwu bowed slightly in acknowledgement. The conclave leader spoke again. What are humanity's intentions now that you have revealed yourselves? Cooperation, Juwu said simply. Earth has no desire for conquest or domination. We seek partners, not subjects. As she continued her address, Juwu thought about her crew waiting on the Shadowfall. Science Officer Jihai Ryu had already begun sharing selected technological breakthroughs with trusted conclave scientists. The cloaking technology would remain secret, but medical advances and efficient energy systems would be exchanged. Security Chief Taemin Han had established protocols for joint defense initiatives against threats that might endanger all species. In closing, Juwu said, know that Earth could have chosen many paths. We chose peace, we chose cooperation, but we also chose strength. Remember this if you ever consider humanity an easy target. As she stepped down from the platform, representatives from many worlds rose to their feet. Some did so out of respect, others from fear, but all recognized that the galaxy had changed forever. That evening, Juwu stood by a large window on the conclave station, looking out at the stars. Ambassador Junsu joined her. How does it feel to change history? He asked quietly. Zhu smiled slightly. Strange. For years, our mission was to hide. Now our mission is to be seen. The conclave will never be the same, Junsu said. Neither will humanity, Zhu replied. We have stepped out of the shadows now. There's no going back. In the distance, the Shadowfall hung in space, its sleek hull now visible for all to see. Humanity had emerged not with conquest, but with strength tempered by restraint. A new power that had been watching all along, waiting for the right moment to step from the shadows.